You're watching Mugen TV RPG Haven. Experience a fantasy like no other.
Hey guys, this is MugenLord here, and I am back again with another Final Fantasy VII Remake video. Now, if you guys don't know, today was the release of the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo, and I advise you guys to go check it out. I did a video about it to let everybody know on my YouTube channel that, hey, it's ready, it's available, you can give it a try. I know there's a lot of fans out there that have been waiting for this day of Final Fantasy VII Remake, and we finally at least get a chance to play it in the form of a demo, because if you guys don't know, they had delayed the game into April, and I'm fine with that. As long as it takes and they have the game fully fleshed out and it's polished and it's presentable and it's of high quality, it doesn't really matter. But as far as the demo, I wasn't even expecting the demo really either. I was just saying like, hey, I'll just wait until the game comes out, but we did get a demo. So in this video, I just want to give you my impressions of what I think about it now that I had hands-on time and actually gave the game a try. Now, when you dive into the demo, and just to let you guys know that the game is about 7.5 gigabytes, I believe. So depending on your connection speed, it shouldn't take that long. It took me about like 2 to 3 minutes and I got it done. But diving into the demo, I love the whole intro screen. It has that classic traditional Final Fantasy VII front cover box art look where Cloud is looking up into the Mako reactor, and I thought that was pretty cool. But when you go into the demo, you are introduced to the combat's difficulty, which you have classic, you have easy, and normal. Normal, you have your traditional, the way the game is supposed to be played in the remake, and then you have the classic if you want to go turn-based and pretty much give the characters their individual turns, and you just sit back and let everything execute itself. And then easy is what it is, easy. Now, going into this, the bombing mission, I want to say about this, the intro, because you're playing the bombing mission in this. Now, the bombing mission intro, they just did a little bit of changes. They took some liberty to make a little bit of changes, because the original, they had pretty much showed, the stars in the air, and they explained about the world that Final Fantasy VII takes place in, and you pretty much see Aerith looking and staring into the alley. But this time, not only is she staring into the alley, the music changed to like this ominous, like this Aerith feels something is not right, something is up, and I like that they did that. So it's giving you a hint that there's something menacing that's going to happen in this game at some point. Now, as far as the visuals are concerned, the visuals, I must say, oh my god, this game is absolutely gorgeous. It's beautiful. Now, the thing is, I'm playing on a traditional PlayStation 4. Now, my brother Keel Lancer and DX Strike have the PS4 Pro, and the game pretty much runs still just as good. It looks really good. The characters are very detailed, and I just couldn't help but just pan the camera around the character Cloud and just see the detail in the stitching in his clothes, and see the detail in his hair, his facial expression, even down to all my favorite characters. You don't understand how much it really does something to me. Like, I've played this game ever since I was young. This game was released when I was in 4th grade, and it is like I grew up with these characters, and to see them from blocky polygon characters to real life looking characters, it just amazes me. Even down to the reactors and its locations, it just looks stunning. It looks gorgeous, and I love the fact is that I'm able to point out each area. Even after the major upgrades in the locations and everything, things are still recognizable from the original Final Fantasy VII to the Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's just a charm, man. I really like what they've done. They really paid attention to detail, and I do like the fact is that they did take some liberties and added into some additional areas, and these smaller areas, but they add additional locations within the reactor itself to fully flesh it out and give it more personality, especially now that you do have cutscenes, you do have voice acting and all these other things to be able to fit the mode. And plus, now they have a new gameplay style, which we're going to dive into. They definitely need an area for the players to be able to understand how the gameplay mechanics work. So diving into the gameplay mechanics, you definitely have different modes. And now the things I want to get into this, because it is in a way real-time combat system, and at the same time it still has the aesthetics of a turn-based, meaning that you still have an ATB gauge, an action turn-based gauge, and pretty much as you're fighting and you're performing combos, you're staggering your enemies and everything, it fills the gauge up, and then you press the X button that allows you to pull from a drop-down menu where you can use your abilities, items, and even down to your limit break for you to perform certain abilities. Now, each action that you make uses 1 ATB gauge. So I have a feeling that, and I'm assuming that as you progress through the game, that you'll probably earn more ATB meters, so you can be able to perform more actions and everything. And that's what I believe they're going to eventually allow the players to be able to do when playing this game. So I'm definitely looking forward to how deep the mechanic's going to be. Now the thing is, you press the square button to do your light attacks, but more interesting is when you press the triangle button, you have these different features or these different modes, where you have operator mode with Cloud, and you have your Punisher mode. Now operator mode is pretty much your standard stance that Cloud gets into, and you pretty much can swing around much faster with your sword. Then when you go to Punisher mode, it's more of a defense heavy stance, where Cloud's a lot slower, and he's in a particular stance to where he's able to take more damage, but it leaves him open quite easily for other enemies to take damage from Cloud and everything. And the same thing with Brett. He has two different features. He can charge his gun up, and he can spurt out powerful shots. Is pretty cool as well. And I found myself, while doing these combos, I will oftentimes, in between my operator mode, I would switch to Punisher and land heavy hits to open up my opponents. And the thing was, when I was playing, or when I watched the original playthrough of Final Fantasy VII Remake at last year's E3, I thought that Punisher is just you press triangle and he just performs one attack. No, it's actually a complete stance with its own move list and everything. Now, not only that we have Punisher mode, I'm hoping, or I'm guessing, that maybe there are going to be other modes that you can be able to unlock and learn while questing through the game, or through leveling up, or some sort of mechanic that allows you to get other modes to see what Cloud and the party members would be able to do, which I thought was pretty cool, and I thought was awesome. You also have a guard button by pressing the R1 button, so you can be able to guard. Press circle to evade when you roll around, and I found myself actually evading more than I've done guarding. And I think I need to mix it up a bit, because sometimes, if not timed right, when you try to evade, you can definitely get hit really hard by your opponents and everything. And now, as far as the staggering is concerned, once you perform a certain condition, like certain enemies might be weak against magic, we have to fight the mechanical machine, I use fire, and then it pretty much staggered the enemy. And while they're staggered, this is your opportunity to stack as much damage as possible, and to also stack up that stagger gauge before the enemy able to get back up, which I think is pretty cool. So you can set up certain situations, and I can see this game getting more complex in that area, where you'll find different ways to stagger your enemies a lot quicker by meeting certain conditions and pairing up certain characters and materia in order to get that staggering potential up there in the potential game, which I think is pretty cool. And then after that, character specialties. Characters, like I said, have their own specialties when it comes to their limit break. I found myself when I was fighting the Scorpion. Cloud, he has his, like I said before, he has his cross slash, and I haven't gotten the chance, I'm not sure, because I haven't seen Barrett's limit break pop up in the demo at all, but he does have Big Shot from the E3 build, but I never got a chance to see if he had it in this demo at all. Now, as far as character interactions, I must say it's the best in this game so far, and I like how my favorite characters are interacting with each other, especially with Cloud and Barrett. Now that the characters have real voices and you get to see how they emote between one another, you actually see that dynamic. And I love how Cloud and Barrett in this sense remind me of Mel Gibson and Danny Glover in the Lethal Weapon movies, which I think is pretty cool. And it's like these two are bouncing off of each other. You know, Cloud is acting like an asshole, you know, he's like sitting there like calm, collective, not really caring, and Barrett is very passionate, especially about the planet and the life stream, and how the Mako is absorbing the life stream, and it's going to affect the planet, and it's going to damage the planet in the long run. So two personalities are pretty much clashing together, which I think is what I thought is pretty cool, especially at the end of the bombing mission, as Barrett is pretty much panicking as the Mako reactor is exploding, and you see Cloud really calm, and then he watches how calm Cloud is, and he looked at his hand, and then he decided to calm down. So I like where this is going, how these two are going to eventually, like in the game, they're going to eventually get along, and they're eventually going to bounce off of each other, which I think is pretty cool. And one of my favorite characters in here, and I'm glad they really fleshed this character out, and that's Jesse. Jesse is so cute in this game. I love her little quirks, and I love her little expressions and sayings, especially her constantly hitting on Cloud, which is, to me, I think is pretty cool, because she did flirt with Cloud in the game, but they didn't put it onto the level of what it is right here, which I think is pretty cool here, to be able to see that interaction between Cloud and Jesse, and it gave Jesse a bit more, much more life to the character, because if you guys don't know, and I won't spoil it here, but you know, the tragedy that happens to a lot of the characters in this game, to miss some of these characters, and Jesse was one of the characters that I did miss, and they didn't really put too much emphasis on the characters or give the character really any type of real development in the original game, but they really fleshing this character out, and I really appreciate that, and I know there's going to pretty much be a strong fan base for Jesse, and I can see the shipping community, and I can see a lot of theory crafting going on between the love triangle now, a love square, I guess, between Jesse, Aerith, and Tifa and everything, which I think is going to be pretty funny and stuff. And then as far as the boss encounter is concerned, just by fighting the Scorpion, this battle took me 30 minutes. It took me 30 minutes to fight this boss. It took a long time to fight this boss, and this is just an introduction to how the boss fights and the gameplay mechanics work. And I must say that they took a lot of liberties to actually make the bosses feel very dynamic in this game, especially the Scorpion. He jumps around, and there's a cinematic where he jumps on the wall, he shoots missiles. So I think, in my opinion, this is just like a preview of what to expect with the rest of the bosses, and how cinematic these boss fights are going to feel, and how much these characters or these bosses are going to change up their patterns that you want to get used to. Because I love the fact that I had to hide behind debris, watch the lasers. When they grabbed Cloud, I had to be buried to be able to shoot the Scorpion to let Cloud go when he was binding them, which I thought was pretty cool too. But overall, man, I just love this demo. This demo really, like, I was already hyped for the game. I was already really hyped for the game, but all it did was make me even more hyped to get my hands on this game. And I already reserved the deluxe edition last year after they revealed the game and gave us a release date and everything of that sort. So I'm already ready for the game. Can't wait to get my hands on it. I'm super excited. And another thing before I close this out, something they changed about the bombing missions, the fact is that the bomb failed. It didn't blow up, but instead President Shinra and Heidegger, or President Shinra give Heidegger the okay to pretty much to blow the bomb up itself, or blow up the reactor itself. And which I find kind of strange, which means they're taking a different approach with this. And my guess is that President Shinra has to create an enemy, which is Avalanche, make them into the terrorists. Not only that, Shinra also doesn't really like the slums and the certain parts of Midgard that he really doesn't really care too much for, and he pretty much want to get rid of. So I think purposely blowing up that reactor is another way to shave off parts of Midgard, because if you don't know, Midgard has an upper plate and a lower plate. The upper plate is more with fresh air, higher class of living and things like that, compared to the lower plates to where you have the slums where the poor people's at. So this is pretty much like class warfare that they have going on in this game, and these lives don't really mean nothing to President Shinra at the end of the day. So I do love the fact that they took some liberties to change some things up, which means it's getting me excited to find out what they're going to do with this, because it did not end the way that I thought it would end. And that pretty much my opinion for this demo. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the characters. You don't understand, it's like a reunion of family that I haven't seen in a very long time, and now they're back, and they look new, they look much more mature and everything, and it just does something to me, and it just brings back those memories of my childhood playing this game and enjoying the character development with all my favorite characters from Final Fantasy VII. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I definitely want to hear your thoughts on all of this. Have you tried a demo? What are your thoughts on the combat system, especially if you're an OG who played the original Final Fantasy VII during its launch? What do you feel about the liberties they have taken with the gameplay? Does it fit your needs? Have you tried classic mode? Because I haven't tried it, and I said to myself that I won't go any farther. I won't play the demo anymore. I only played it once, and that's all I need, because I know when I run something like a demo too much for a favorite game, it kind of destroys the hype and my anticipation for a game. So I'm done with the demo, and I know it's gonna be a lot of fiends out there who's gonna pretty much play this demo up and down to see how much they can get out of this and overanalyze everything. But I'm pretty much satisfied. I'm done with the demo. I can't wait for the game to launch in April. Looking forward to it, but I definitely hear your thoughts. If you like the video, pass it, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe. It helps me out. Definitely hit that like button. If you don't comment, at least hit like or dislike. and it definitely helps me in the algorithm. And if you want to hear more news related to Final Fantasy or just Final Fantasy VII Remake, definitely hit that bell to be notified. This is MugenLord signing off. See you gay fiends later. Peace out. It looks like you reached the end of the video. Well, while you're at it, check out some of my other discussion videos by clicking on the annotations below, and don't forget to follow me on other social media platforms to stay up to date with future content. Signing off.